Hello, hello.
Hello.
Tanya, your hair looks so good.
Thank you so much, Tracy. I appreciate
My goodness. The curls pristinely popping.
it.
Mm.
Honestly, I mean, I don't, yes, they are popping, but I posted a photo last night and that photo made it look even better than I think I'm looking right now. But then I had just come, so for those who don't know, I went to a curly hair specialist, and she called her shop hair therapist, like a therapist.
Okay.
So um, it's not a cheap endeavor, but when you go in, it's like a total spa for your hair and scalp. And basically, I told her my hair history, and she diagnosed me what my issue was. I felt like after my surgery earlier this year that my hair texture changed. I was getting new growth that wasn't the same curl pattern as the rest of my hair. So I felt that maybe that's something that was internally going on and that I needed to figure out what and how to deal with it. So that's why I looked up this hair therapist, because I figured she might be able to tell me something. And she did. And basically, she let me know that I was not moisturizing my new growth to the extent that it needed. And
Oh.
so she realized it because I was telling her how I washed my hair. And basically, and this is fun. This is funny because my friends were like embarrassed that I even told anybody this. But I said, yeah, I wash my hair twice a week and blah, blah. They're like, what? You wash your hair twice a week? And my best friend was like, I can't believe you as a black woman sit up there and telling people that you wash your hair twice a week. I
Well,
was
I
like,
still wash my hair sometimes more. Like,
I'm like, but what I do is I wash it. I thoroughly wash it. I wash out the conditioner and everything. And the
yeah.
lady was like, "You were just starving your hair every time you wash it." And so she let me know how to wash my hair and to make sure that I keep in moisture and how to put in product to keep in moisture and what kind of products to look for. And then she gave me a steam treatment and basically massaged the hell out of my scalp. I was like in there falling asleep because it's just like and she did it for like 20 minutes straight. And I was like, it was amazing. And then and she showed me how to put in the product, and then I went into the dryer, and then I was able to buy the product from her. I walked away with tips and tricks and products and everything, and my hair was like glistening and curly. It wasn't still fully dry. I mean, it was dry, but it hadn't like absorbed everything to the fullness that you see here now. But it was like almost get in there. And so but yeah. And of course, when I have a good experience, I like to shout it out to everybody. So I went all on Facebook and everything and told folks. So
Well, your hair looks expensive.
and it feels expensive. It doesn't feel like I'm normally how I normally feel my hair. And I even joked with my friends, I feel like I'm wearing a wig. Why every time I go on Facebook now I see curly hair wig ads?
It's so shady, my God. Like, it's Mark Zuckerberg. Could you please stop
Right.
being such a creep? Like,
Stop.
goodness.
I was just like, it's crazy. But yeah, so that's why my hair looks different now. But I feel there's a special glow in Tracy's aura because I feel like she had the ultimate experience this past week from her photos, the brunch, the white outfits, the musical accompaniment at dinner, and the Beyonce concert.
So,
With the
what
besties.
a
That's the
segue.
best part.
What a segue, first of all. Um, I just like literally had the best birthday I've ever had. Like, I'm so much of like a caretaker, so I try to make everybody else's day like really important and special. And so I just got like really spoiled by like my college friends. So we went to, obviously I had been talking about this for weeks. We had gone months actually. We had gone to New Orleans for Beyonce. Originally, that was supposed to have been the last show, but we're recording on a Sunday, so the last show's tonight in Kansas City. But so it was the show was the day after my birthday. So we got in town and I was like, okay, guys, I want to have a dinner and I want it to be like a white, like all white, or everybody wears white. People showed up and showed out. My friends were like, I was like, I feel like Diddy right now, but I pay people. You know what I'm saying? Like a Diddy who pays their artist because y'all look so good. And they like kind of spoiled me at the restaurant. We stayed like a really nice like spa hotel, so I got like a mani pedi and a facial. It was just like a lot of spoiling. And I we were in New Orleans and my friends just like ate all the food. I was like, I have to watch Beyonce, so I need to keep myself in check. So I was like, I like it was just I had like a kale salad and some bread. I was like, no, I must. That was like the first day. I did like
Okay.
ball out. I bought out of New Orleans food like the day after the concert, but the day
Okay.
before I was like, I just have to be pure, just like water. Like I just
You
have
have to be pure. Eating kale and water. That's funny.
it has to be everything. And the show, first, our tickets, our seats were so good. We were like in like the first seated row off the ground. So we just like right elevator, like it was just like so close. Beyonce owes me nothing. Just an amazing show. I was like, this is the greatest performer alive right now. Period. Like I don't want to hear anything else. Other people might put on a good show. I know when Usher puts on his show, I'm gonna try to go. If you want to go, you should let me know. See if he comes to the day. Uh,
Okay. If you come
but
because the Vegas tickets are off the chain expensive.
they are always sold out, always sold out.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, I mean, just it was I remember because like I said, I went with my college friends, and so I remember when Crazy in Love first came out.
Mhm.
So obviously Beyonce's first single. We heard it and we watched the video, and I remember we were in the parking lot of our school, and somebody blared it out of their car, and we like were moving cars out of the way so we could like Beyonce walk in the parking lot. It was just like so I mean, and I've been like a stan since Destiny's Child, so just to like see um her grow as like this artist has been amazing. When she sang Love on Top, it was like I was like laughing because I was like, I remember when she announced she was pregnant with Blue during Love on Top for the MTV Awards, and now Blue was like dancing on
Yeah.
the show, on the stage with her.
I was rewatching that video this morning and I watched it and I didn't realize how many clues she was giving towards that unveiling during the performance. And I didn't realize while watching it firsthand, but then I'm watching it now and it's like, oh my gosh, she was giving away mad clues to this.
Yes, yes. Um,
Yeah.
it was just, I mean, it's like also because of like it just like feels like we grew up with her in so many ways, and so like different stages of her life have like coincided with different stages of ours. And so it was just like fun to listen to 20 plus years of like hits from this artist who like danced in for 3 hours, and like costume changes, and it was just like a very amazing camaraderie um of like people singing together like your songs, people doing like dances from the videos or whatever. It was so much fun, such an experience. It was my first Beyonce show. I've seen Destiny's Child like back in the day, but this was my first Beyonce concert, and I'm really, really glad I went. It was so fun. Yay! I'm still on my high. I have on a Beyonce shirt right now.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm still on my high. I have my Beyonce fan. Oops, can you see it? Probably not
a little
because
bit, a little
my
bit.
background.
Yeah.
Anyway, it says heated. That's really funny. You can't anyway. It says heated on yeah, it was just like it was a good show, and it was just like I loved seeing the fashion. I love seeing Black girls like show up and show out. I was not in heels. I had on like just very flat sneakers.
Mhm.
I was also masked because COVID, but I wore
Mhm.
like a nice, like a really cute, like jeweled thing over my mask. Um, and I loved at the end of the show, at the end of the night, there was somebody out selling flip-flops. I was like, this was the smartest hustle I've ever seen in my life because people, like how you do that walk when your feet are tired in the night.
Yeah.
People were doing that walk, and I just saw them stop and get those flip-flops. So smart.
I don't remember what age I was, but I remember where I was like, okay, heels are never worth it anymore. So I'm like, I started buying kind of nicer looking shoes that did not have heels or really fly tennis shoes. I have a lovely connection right now. And I could just see all these ladies, fancy ladies in their heels at that concert. And when you were like describing that walk, I imagine it was a huge stadium and that you have to walk a long way to get to the parking lot. And yeah, it would have been painful. So yeah, that sounds like a great hustle. I might actually go to the Coliseum next week and just be like hanging out with my flip flop. Because we got at the Oakland Coliseum, we have vendors that sell hot dogs. It'd be forever smelling like hot dogs, but I think it would be smart to bring some flip flops.
That's right. Yeah, so it was just fun. It was also humid because like if anybody who's like listens, if you like live in the Bay, it does not get humid here like that. So I'm like walking around New Orleans, like, am I breathing water right now? Like, what?
Probably were.
So long. It's been so long since I was there in the summer. So I was just like, whoo, this is humid. But one of my favorite things that I did was every day I did still watch General Hospital.
That is great. Cause I've had my week and that's not something I did. But I did see every episode, but it was yesterday.
That's amazing. What do you want to get into talking about the show? Because we have so much to talk about. We have Sprina to talk about. We have Kelly's 20th anniversary, Kelly Monaco's 20th anniversary to talk about. It's busy.
Mm-hmm. Too much going on right now.
I can just give like really big highlights as we do with these recaps.
Mhm.
Um Gladys
Gladys. Oh my god.
betrayed Sasha, who
Mhm.
ends up back in Ferncliff. I'm really hoping there's some sort of plan there. Like it
Oh
just
yeah, because a lot of my comments have to do with how that whole thing failed. I'm just,
what a failure all around.
I was like so pissed.
Drew is in the hospital after being beaten up. Carly has words with everyone about it.
Yes.
We also remember that Jake is related to Drew. And the warden and Jordan are going to try and get Drew out of Pentonville because that apparently is how it works. Who knew?
Yeah.
Charlotte and Valentine move into a new house, and we find out that Victor sent Charlotte a letter warning her against Anna, and he sent Charlotte the tarot cards. Now, if you're like me, you probably tried to read that letter.
Right? I was like, I paused on the box because I was trying to see the address. I was like, who's and the address only had the address of the school. I was like, damn it.
I love soap fans. We're like, okay, so give me and like, okay, let's talk about the tarot cards. What did you pull? Let me go look this up.
Like what? Need to know all the details. Don't just be like half-assing it. But anyway, go ahead.
Um, Laura gets proof that Nicholas is still alive. Trifling. Um, Nina finally tells Sonny about Gladys and Sasha, or at least the part she knows. And somehow they decide to elope. Michael is looking into who told the SEC on Drew and Carly. New Molly let us know her surrogate is pregnant before new Molly arrived.
Like new Molly.
4 Mollies for one story? That's a lot of Molly.
It's a lot of Molly.
I'm
And
talking
a
about a
lot of
person, not a
annoying
drug.
Molly. Well, a lot of annoying Molly too. So
Right. And I'm talking about a person, not a drug, shockingly. Um, After being yelled at by Cyrus while licking a lollipop, Mason maybe kidnaps Ava.
okay.
Sprina gets romantical and have their first time together in New York. That's like the top lines. I'm sure we'll get into other things that may have happened, but those are like the really, really big things that you need to know about the week. Tell me, who was your performer? What was your favorite moment?
Can I tell you when Ava called Nina, it was like, I just had to let you know that Drew woke up so you won't have to have his murder on your conscience.
I loved it.
Like, I was wrong. I mean, she was giving zingers all through the week. Like, I'm not the one that put him in the hospital.
And Carly was like, "Damn, girl, you
She's
right."
like, you're right. It was me. But she didn't know. She was talking about Nina, and Nina looked scandalized. She was like, and then, and then calling Nina out on the murder of Drew. It was hilarious. It
Mhm.
was peak Ava and peak, like, what kind of friend are you to guilt your friend? But, and first of all, kind of egged her on to do it and then warned her against it and now keeps making her feel guilty. I love Ava so much.
I do.
I do. That was one of my favorite moments. Obviously, the Sprina was a really great moment.
Uh,
Sasha yelling at Gladys was another great moment. So those are my faves this week.
yeah, I mean, aside from Trina, who just, I mean, when we're talking about melanin popping, the girl just looked stunning, gorgeous, beautiful, every like. So I mean, that was like many moments. I know that might be vain, but just having this like beautiful dark skinned black girl just look amazing all over screen all week. So good and so important. I think that people don't realize, or a lot of people don't realize, soaps will lighten characters or like prioritize like and I'm not a person who's like, I mean, black girls are black women. I'm supporting all black women 100%. But dark skinned black girls have been marginalized in soaps. And so to have her like highlighted like that was so important. We will deep dive into that. Um, I loved Carly apologizing to Ava after she acted fool on her.
I I mean, that's the difference between her. Everyone keeps saying that Carly never suffers the consequences or cares about when she's wrong. And that was just like the perfect demonstration of how that is incorrect. Because yeah, she'll own yelling and she will yell and she will get in your face and be very shrewish about it. But she realized that she was wrong and she apologized after. Every time she yelled at someone that week, she's like, okay, I'm sorry. I'm just really like, So that was amazing. And I kind of want to go back to the Sprina thing a little bit. It felt to me kind of like when Black Panther first came out and they did these cover stories with all of the women. And I almost wanted to, like, Photoshop her into that photo because there was like one really great photo of all of the women, their dark skin just glowing and glistening and just looking amazing. And I was like, that's Trina right there. She belongs in that little ilk. But anyway.
Yeah, I mean, and it's like I sometimes feel like shallow to keep talking about how beautiful she is, but I also think there's not enough people talking about how beautiful black girls are. And so I'm gonna keep saying it. We gonna keep talking about how beautiful she is. Um uh we're getting ahead of ourselves because we're gonna deep dive into Sprina, obviously. I also liked the Ava and Joss moment. I think that what is interesting about their dynamic and what I love about soap storytelling is that you're always going to have people who never get along. but you're also going to have unlikely pairings and unlikely family that builds over time because you're telling this story for so long. And so, yes, like Joss actually has real reason not to like Ava. Um, and Ava's done a lot, but Ava is Avery's mom and she is Trina's mentor. And so, like, speaking about how important Trina is into both of their lives, it just felt special. And it was like a continuation of the apology that Carly gave Ava. That's like, at the end of the day, like, we might beef, but we're kind of family. Like, I know my daughter's going to be safe with you. I know that you are part of like the plan and the village that I'm building for my kid. And that is what it is. And I loved seeing both of those moments with like Ava and Carly and then Ava and Joss.
And for me, it almost felt like a continuation. I feel like, remember, Joss saved Ava's life
Yeah.
during the murder spree. And when you do that, there's just like a connection or a bond that's just, kind of irrevocable. I think that's something that, and it was the impetus for, I don't want to think it's Dex. I think it's like having that experience of having someone's life in your hands would just change the way that she wanted to live her life, and it changed her major. So I think, that kind of just, gave an opening for Joss to see Ava in a different way. And so for me, yes, I also enjoyed those scenes. I actually really thought it was fun when the girls were running around the island and Ava got shot at. I loved that. But yes, that whole evening scenes were great.
Yeah, agreed.
And I think she will listen to Ava in a way that she's not hasn't been listening to her mom. It's totally different when it's not your mom giving you advice about something. And it's because the way she thought about what Ava said about being careful about being with a man that's in the business, Jocelyn is going to take it in a different way than it is, her mom. So I think that's an interesting dynamic. It'll be interesting to see how, if Joss continues to kind of listen to Ava's advice or even seek it, when it comes to Dex. That might be interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, because at the end, like, Dex came in and he was like against Sonny, and it was like this different world. But now, no matter what, like Dex is ingrained in Sonny's world. There is no getting away. So before there was like this exit plan, no matter how flawed and silly the exit plan was, because it was very flawed and silly. Um, Now that's not there. Like he is, and you saw that when Sonny was in jail. Dex cares about Sonny. And so Joss, sadly, she's gonna find out what it means to be in love with a man who's in love with Sonny Corinthos. You know what I'm saying?
Man, let's remind you that Dex is a man and the little boy that lives next door to her is not. What's his name? Adam. I think he's gonna. I'm hoping that was like a little guest stunt, like "Welcome back to the dorms. I am a student." I hope he's not gonna be like a regular and get in the middle of Dex's. I mean, if something gets in the middle of Joss and Dex's relationship, it better not be them.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing is, Adam has a crush on Trina.
Does he?
Yeah, so there was like a while ago where Adam like asked Joss about Trina. Now, granted, we know Joss sometimes gets that like Lulu Spencer treatment where everybody likes her. And so maybe they'll back up on that. But the thing about Adam was that he had asked about Trina before.
Hmm. Oh yeah, but he also hit on Jocelyn first when they had that sex tape out, and
Yeah, he was being gross. Yeah.
so he might be thinking I ain't really got any kind of chance with Joss.
Adam trying to spin the block, whichever one.
No, he ain't cool at all.
Wait, is that even his name? Is that his real name or his show name?
I think that's his show name.
Oh, okay. Um, Performer of the week. Let's talk about it. I have a lot of performances I really enjoyed.
Oh yeah. Well, obviously we always got to give it up, Sophia.
I mean,
My goodness, she had me crying.
Oh, good.
When she said, "I actually thought you loved me," I was like, "Oh no, no." It was like so emotional. I was also not that that we're never ever not impressed, but when man, that one moment when Cyrus flashed on Lollipop Guild, he was like, "I don't care what Cassadine said. I'm the one that's leading this." I was like, "Wait a minute, what happened to the preacher?" He was just like he street flashed on him. I was like, oh, "Okay." But then that goes to the skill of this actor who can't. He's just amazing. So
Jeff
shout out
Over. Uh,
Jeff Over.
what an actor.
Right? So for those were my top two. For me, that was amazing.
Mm. I also have to give it to Hudson. You know,
Oh yes, and he cried.
Hudson is such a special actor. Because first of all, I was never supposed to care about the liaison baby. Period. I was never supposed to care. But this kid or this young man keeps me hooked. If you've never watched Grey's Anatomy, there's an episode where he plays like a young boy who is blind, and he carries so much of the episode. And so I knew then that he was like very special. He is so captivating. He has this ability to pull you in emotionally to anything that he is doing. I am so invested in any story they tell about him. I am ready. Give it to me. And I'm so glad that he is there. I'm so glad that they are like finally utilizing this young person. I mean, if you remember some of the scenes he had, especially when like Jason came back and it was like between him, Jason, and Drew, he bought it in. Where if you remember when Franco was killed,
Oh
um,
yeah.
and Cameron was like saying it was Jason, and his acting then, and then when I will never forget the scene where Cameron apologizes to him.
Mm-hmm.
Like Hudson is so good. And so this week was just like no exception. He had me tearing up. I forgot. I mean, I was like, Uncle Drew. What the hell you mean, Uncle? I was like, oh, Uncle Drew.
How is he the uncle?
Uncle, what you talking about? Like, because we just we don't get to
Yeah,
see them play those like family roles, and they
right.
don't do that. So, like he would make you believe that we've always seen them together, that we've always remembered that Drew was his uncle, that they are in like really good and close relationship with each other, that every time he in the attic with Monica and the other kids, that Drew comes up and sees him and Annabelle III.
Right. Like, yeah, you would think that they were in almost every scene together.
It's
The way he acted it. That's great.
just
Yeah, he's amazing.
next level talent.
Mhm.
um and I just hope that he's continued to be utilized and continued to be praised, because he's just that good.
And I'm hoping he gets I know this story about Charlotte is really kind of about Anna and Valentine a little bit, but I'm hoping that he and Charlotte actually get their time to shine and have their point of view told a little bit more and have this kind of spark a real relationship where he and her try to actually solve this issue, together. I mean, yes, it's obviously Anna and Valentine need to investigate how this goes, but I want yeah, Charlotte and Jake to have an adventure and have them, figure things out together the way that Sprina did a little bit. So yeah, not yeah, I want that for him. I want him to have more scenes.
Yeah, I mean, because Scarlett, who plays Charlotte, is also just like
Mhm,
supremely talented. I was
mhm.
like, where do they get these like just gifted children? They're so good. And I
Yeah.
saw that the young man who plays Aiden, has been filming as well. So the
Oh.
LNL2 baby is back, and that's my baby. That's my Liz kid, just like
Mhm.
on paper. Now Hudson has made Jake my baby too, but
Mhm.
like the LNL2 baby is like my baby. And
Yeah.
actually, to be quite honest, the reason I've never liked Nina.
Oh, yeah. Because she's the one
Like,
that kind of, like, ignored, what Charlotte was doing to Aiden.
right.
Yeah.
And I can forgive a kid for doing that, right?
Yeah.
Like kids are kids. But I was like, oh, you're encouraging her to bully the LNL2 baby? No, thank you, ma'am.
Ma'am.
So it's like my Nina hate comes honest.
It's multi-layered.
Layered hate.
Hate.
But yeah, so I'm excited for like what happens with this like next layer, this like kind of team scene, because
It's
our like
very
last team scene is now elevated into adulthood.
Mhm. Yay.
Yeah, Sprina, New York. Tell me all your feelings about it.
First of all, you guys know that I had fan fiction last week, and I had this idea of what should happen. And I think I got about 75% of it.
Mhm.
I felt like um Spencer could have afforded a better hotel. But
Well,
everything
the kid
else,
GH.
right. I feel everything else was perfect. I mean, he had the the necklace. I mean, he had the caviar, and then the crudité, and he had the champagne, and telling her that he loved her and how beautiful she was, and just it was, and she was glowing, and then they went out to dinner, and then they had the witty banter, and he was like, and she was like, I love you, Spencer, and she was like, well, why, he was like, why didn't you tell me that before? And she was like, good things for those who wait, and it was just amazing conversation. And then they had the love scene, which was very tasteful and romantic.
Mhm.
And I enjoyed, that's one of the things that worked for me this week, was actually I enjoyed the music. I love that song. I don't remember what it is, but I knew that I loved it. I thought it was perfect. And it was just great. I enjoyed all of it.
Mhm.
Yay for Sprina. I'm happy for them.
Yeah, I loved even like I'm gonna pay dust to like the little dust up beforehand. Shouldn't have
Right.
been.
Okay. Yeah. I knew you weren't going to be happy with that. I was like, oh my God, what the hell? That was so unnecessary.
Yeah, and I'm gonna just treat it like it should have been treated and pay it dust and not even talk about it anymore.
Right.
Um, I loved, and maybe it was because I was with my college friends this week, right? And so it kind of transported me to being like so young and in love. I loved when she called Jocelyn, was like, and we had fresh nuts and we didn't have to wait in line and we didn't I was like, you better treat it, you better get flued out, okay?
Right. And we didn't have to go pick up our bags. We just went straight to the car. I was like,
I was
wow.
like, yes, because at that age, if I was like dating somebody who balled out on, because like we have
Yeah.
to remember that Trina is like not used to stuff like that. We've
Yeah.
not really seen her travel. We've not heard her talk about that. So this is very special for her, like this kind of first class. And
Mm-hmm.
they were at a point where she accepted it, because before Trina would be like, oh, you're spoiled or you're this or whatever, but her like, I love that they let her enjoy it. That
Mm-hmm.
was really important to me. I didn't want her to be like, well, he didn't have to do all that. She was like, no, girl, he did all of that. That's my man, my man did that. And so I just really I loved that scene between her and Joss, her like face, because it was just like so age appropriate, you know what
Right.
I mean? Of
Like
like,
when you're that age, you chronicle everything to your friend, your best
yeah,
friend. Like
yeah,
I'm surprised she didn't act. So me and my friends, we whenever we go out of town, we show each other our hotel.
Yeah, I mean that's how she
Yeah,
FaceTimed her, right?
yeah, so she FaceTimed her. I'm surprised she didn't pan the camera over the room and show her everything, but it was just the same. It was like, yeah.
Yeah, it was so I really loved that, and I love that they let Joss be so excited for her. Like
Mhm,
as a friend, between like Trina and Joss's friendship, I think also evolved for me this weekend of or like the weekend, but this week of Josh just being like, you get to feel your feelings and you get to enjoy everything. And
mhm,
I just really loved that that attention
mhm.
to detail. And then I loved everything. This is what I've been asking for Spencer to spoil her. The necklace, and even that scene was very sweet. And I think
Mhm.
that you hit it on the nail, like the head on the nail with them. That they have always been in the midst of all this like crazy drama,
Right.
but like the connection and the love story that they have been telling has always been a very sweet one.
Mhm.
And tasteful is exactly the word, the correct word. It was just like I thought it was just like lovely,
Mhm.
like the way that they choreographed it for them. So shout
Mhm.
out to like whoever that intimacy coordinator was, because you had the moments and it was like very subtle, like the sheet on her leg, the moment, like it was the flashes, and it really did show that GH is very invested in telling the story for them, because other couples don't always get that same kind of like intimacy coordination or whatever, and this was their first time, so they shouldn't have like this
Right.
like wild and crazy, and it just felt like the intimacy coordinator treated the actors with respect, and the actors really wanted to do like a very good job for fans, and I think it just translated very well. So I thought it was very sweet. Like you said, I thought it was very, very tasteful and lovely. And it was about them and affirming their love. Like it was like, let's put everything else out of it. This is about like, I love you. We are spending time together and we are affirming that with each other. And so I just felt like it was exactly the scene and the story that I would want for Trina and for Sprina. Yeah,
Yeah, it was
I
great.
thought it was beautiful.
I did see some things that maybe
Nope.
that you're like, nope, don't tell me. I'm like, okay, I won't.
You can tell me I'm saying I didn't see them, and I'm just like, mm-mm.
There was one part of the scene where it seemed like Spencer still had his shoes on, and I was like, what is
uh, maybe I
And so
wasn't
I just
watching.
noticed it because they had that such sweet detail of him slipping her shoes off, and I was like, oh, that's so. And then they go to the bed, and I see he was like, he still has his shoes on. But other than that, it was perfect.
Yeah.
The song. I'm gonna look up the song and see where it is because I actually want to buy it. And speaking of music, so that was one part of what worked for me. I love the music that Eddie Main was playing. I love that song. It was so cute. And I was like, this is a little ditty. The fun part about those little concerts is seeing white people clap off beat. It's hilarious. I was like, y'all stop. But it was great. It was great. And I also noticed I enjoyed seeing Tracy enjoy it. She was in
Mhm.
the background, she's trying to stay hidden, and she's trying to act all aloof and everything, but she was enjoying the song. So
Mhm.
I liked the scene. I liked the concert. I was a little disappointed, like everybody else, that he didn't finish his new song, but that's all right. He played a great set. I'm hoping. I mean, it seems like it was a maybe a continuation and didn't quite end, so maybe we'll see more on Monday. I don't know, but he did a great set. You go ahead, Eddie Main, do your thing.
I loved when Curtis was talking about it before they went. He was like, "My dad managed to book Eddie Main." Who was trying to get? Dude was just busking in like
Right.
the square 2 weeks ago. What you mean he managed to book? What are we talking about
I
here?
mean, yeah, that's a saying. I was surprised that Eddie May was that great. And so the way he said it, like he was some sort of famous rock star who is hard to get, it was hilarious.
Get out of here. Uh, that little weird moment between him and Olivia, where she thought he was gonna try to kiss her. I was like, ah, Olivia, this is
I know
embarrassing.
I did feel it though. I felt like she was trying to have something happen. Like they got really close for a minute. I was like,
This is embarrassing,
but
Olivia.
it's embarrassing. She is clearly falling for this dude, and he's like, "You're a great friend."
I'm like, in what world? I'm sorry, Lisa Cicero is a baddie. Okay, in what world would a man be like, no?
And
In
that's
what world
sad,
would Eddie Main be like, no?
right? He'd be like, "I appreciate you as a friend."
Like not Eddie Main friend zoning Lisa Cicero. Like, please, sir.
Right. But you know what? That just makes having Lois come back all that more interesting.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, she did say that it was like so much of the. I forgot that Lois and Olivia were friends.
Ooh. Yeah, that's an interesting dynamic. You read that article and stuff, and that was yeah. So it's gonna be that and that much interesting to see how she comes back and whether Eddie Main actually is into her versus his real wife. And and then I'm also looking forward to seeing the relationship between Brooklyn and
Yeah,
Lois, and how yeah, the current Brooklyn, she's like, this is like they've never played in scenes before. So that's gonna be interesting to see. And they look so much alike.
they do. The behind the scene pictures, they had so much chemistry, and Amanda's so talented. I think that it's gonna be. I mean, and we know Renna. I mean, legend.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be really good. I am looking forward to seeing that. And she was like, "I'm coming to support these stories that are already being told."
Yeah,
Um,
like she doesn't have her own story. It's just about supporting this other story. But
yeah,
I'm hoping maybe that not to say that I'm hoping she breaks up, Ned and Olivia, but I'm hoping that she stays on the scene at least for Brooklyn,
hmm yeah.
and maybe causing drama between Sunny and Nina. That would be fun too.
Well, Sunny is kind of like her family, right? So it's like that wouldn't. I don't think that's going to be.
Are they cousins?
They're not related by blood, but I think that they like operate as if they're related.
If they ain't related, that don't mean nothing with Sunny.
Well, true. 'Cause I'm
Sunny
like,
Sunny will get with anybody he feels a need.
Sonny, could you please stop making these eyes at Anna? I don't like that.
Right. Right. So
I don't like it.
yeah.
It was like,
You're like, stop it. Stop commiserating with Anna. Stop it.
I don't like it. Put it to an end, sir. Um, anything else that's working? I know we wanted to talk specifically about Sprina like up top, but is there anything else? So we talked about Eddie Main and Sprina. Is there anything else that's working for you?
Um, I want to say, yeah, the Sam and Dante scenes, even though they weren't together, I liked their scenes. Being, it was funny to have Dante kind of like shoot the breeze with Cody in the incident room, and Chase come in and be like, has he confessed to anything? And Dante's like, yeah, no, not yet, but in a minute it'll come. And they're clearly talking about sports or something like that. It was really obvious he was not being interrogated, and Chase just be like frustrated. That was funny.
That's funny too.
Yeah.
I do like the Chase Dante dynamic. Um I think they should bring Valerie back.
Oh.
Um, since they keep talking about Spencers, bring back a Spencer. Um, like let's do it. And yeah, that's what's working for me. I'm interested to see what Brooklyn does with Blaze.
Mm.
I don't need to hear her sing again. But I am interested in seeing like what happens with that storyline, especially if there's something with Christina and Blaze, because that I'm interested in.
Yeah, I think that's where it's kind of lending itself toward. I think the idea that at the end of Thursday's episode, Christina was talking about I have an idea on how to fundraise for her foundation, and I think she's probably going to invite Blaze to sing.
Yeah, I
And
must do.
that means they're going to work together, and things are going to, happen. You're like, so, yeah. So I think that will be great. Can we go? Because this kind of melds into what's not working for me.
Yeah,
So
go
the
for
not
it.
that Christina. Well, there's something about Christina's storyline that's not working for me, and it's still the same thing. I mean, why can't Christina just go up to her sister and say congratulations, and them not looking like they're going to be scared she's going to blow up? I don't understand. It really pissed me off. Even though, yes, when Alexis went to tell Christina about it, it was a little like I felt like Christina was like, well, why didn't she tell me? And what she did make it a little bit about her, and that's fine. But she didn't do that in front of Molly. So she had her Christina moment in front of Alexis, as what mom and daughters do. But then she does the nice thing and she goes up to Molly and TJ and says, congratulations. That's all I wanted to say. And they still had an attitude. And I'm just like, I can't. I mean, they're even giving new Molly the same story. I'm like, you have a new actress now. You can have that story changed subtly, and we wouldn't feel it. We would be like, yes, finally they're changing their dynamic. We'll be happy with this new Molly. But now she's getting the same storyline and acting it in the same way, and I don't like it. It's not working.
Cool. I don't understand. I don't think that anything that we've seen Christina do warrants Molly's reaction right now.
None.
It would be different if she had like tried to push the surrogacy thing, but like legitimately Molly was like, nah, and she was like, okay. Like I'm just like, what is actually the thing here? What's happening? Why is this such a big deal? Why is TJ involved in having this like big ass attitude?
Yes.
And I'm sorry, like y'all should have told a story based on the relationship that we knew them to have. You don't get to ignore like characters and dynamics for years and then decide you want to tell a story that you've never told before and then make some shit up. Like this dynamic, I'm not saying that Molly might not have resented something about Christina, but this has never been their dynamic. And so to then have two brand new actresses or a total of 5 brand new actresses pick this dynamic up is wild. This is not how they behave with each other. So I have had a really difficult time. I don't even really care for Christina like that. But I've still had a difficult time like watching it go down because Molly and TJ have been so annoying.
And so my second thing that doesn't work. I've enjoyed Sam and Dante in this story immensely, but the fact that the story, the plan that they had failed, just irked me. Okay, so
Yeah.
it was like, why would they allow like Cody to be floating around and to be able to see Dr. Montague and just have him be let on the loose and attack Dr. Montague that way? I didn't understand that at all. I didn't like it. I was just like, first of all, I know I blamed actually, Cody as a character. I don't like him anyway. But I would think they would put him in a holding cell instead of letting him walk around, floating around, seeing suspects and being able to attack him. I didn't like it. It just seemed weird because it just makes him look even more guilty and unhinged and needing to be in Ferncliff when really he should be, kind of in a holding cell and just waiting it out and seeing what happens. I didn't like that. Also, I didn't like.
I feel like that might be part of some sort of plan.
Yeah, I'm hoping it is because that's what I like. I didn't. Well, first of all, I didn't like that the plan just didn't end this week. I felt like I wanted it to be nipped in the bud. I wanted Sasha to be able to yell at Gladys and then Gladys be led away into handcuffs and have that be it. I didn't need it to be drawn out any more than it is now. And now Sasha is back in the Ferncliffs and scared and terrified by this doctor again. I don't like that. No. I didn't like that. And then also, I didn't understand. So I felt like there are elements of this plan that could have been thought about better in order to avoid that happening.
Yeah.
You know, like maybe Sasha shouldn't have gone to see Gladys alone. Even if they confronted each other alone, maybe Sam was sitting in the hallway waiting, or something like that. And being like, oh, I have a feeling you're about to go to the police and confess. Let me go with you. That kind of thing, to make sure that Gladys isn't alone to call the police on Sasha. I felt like that could have been thought about. But instead, they took it for granted that Gladys would feel guilty enough to actually follow through. And that wasn't smart. But
I feel like there must be something else that we're missing to the story.
right.
I think that, like, I hate that they made Sante look so unprepared, because neither of these
Yeah.
are stupid. So
Right.
I mean, we don't know what's gonna happen, but I do hope that there is like more to it, because like your plan certainly couldn't hinge on Gladys being a good person. So I do think that there was something to the Cody at the police station thing. I think that is something. I don't know if there's something to the Gladys Sasha thing.
Mhm.
Um, but I also like hate that the story is about to be handed over to Sonny.
Yes.
At
Because
what
and
point do we
the one
have to
thing
say, go ahead.
one thing that made me think it wasn't part of the plan was the way that Sasha was generally scared to go back to Ferncliff.
Yeah,
Like she was deathly afraid to go back to Ferncliff. So it didn't seem like something she would have agreed to do as part of a plan.
right,
I think that was not, thought about.
right.
And then the other thing is now Sonny gets to come in and be the hero, and that's not
At
cool.
some point, like, what story does this man not touch?
Right.
I am sorry, but I remember back when I was on soap Twitter, every day I would hear a complaint about how Carly is everywhere. She don't have her own story. She's everywhere.
Mhm.
Sunny is legitimately being dropped into stories. People, like, moments are being taken away from like the characters who were like the main players in stories to then prop Sunny into them. It's annoying. And it was interesting that like conversation he had with Dex where he was like, oh, or Anna, he was like, this wouldn't have happened this many years ago. Yeah, no, it would not have happened this many years ago because Jason was there. And I would love to see like some sort of like acknowledgement that you look weak to people because you got with the person who kidnapped you from your family. That looks weak. So you talking about revenge, you basically threw your son under the bus for her publicly.
Mhm.
Like everybody knows that when this went down, you were on her side over your families, the people that folks know. The people who Carly still has to be like, it's not Mrs. Corinthos, it's actually Miss Spencer. So people seen the folks who are like loyal to you, who held you down, be discarded by you by somebody who was been unhinged and unstable. And the fact that that didn't play out in any way actually made no sense in the first place. So I'm interested to see if that does come up. I'm interested to see what Sunny's like reaction is going to be. So like now him and Nina are eloping, and it looks like Michael is watching like the FC, or like has the FCC and has a person or a guy or whatever. I'm interested to see what Sunny does, or like how he behaves once he finds out what Nina did, because I saw somebody say like only on GH do you become a villain for reporting a crime. It's not just
Not that she just oh my goodness. Did that person just immediately forget everything that Nina's done?
I like it. I think that like sometimes there's like this like, oh well, it's just a soap, and so this is how soaps work, and so like whatever, and so like there's this because people don't like Carly, which is fine. Like, you know, as characters, I don't like it. So if something happens to them or somebody does something to them, I'm like, whatever. But it's that is how I personally feel, not how I think everybody else should feel.
Mm-hmm.
Other people should not be as okay with certain things on characters that they are. And so, you know, like Nina's done a lot, and she didn't turn in Carly and Drew because they committed some crime against her. She turned them in because she was jealous and mad. That's villain shit.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, what are we talking about here? So it was like you did something out of spite. Yeah, they were wrong. Of course, whatever. They were wrong. But you like turned in people who were like the support system for your daughter,
Mm-hmm.
and like the mother of Sonny's kids after you've already disrupted those kids' lives enough. I just feel like people would just be saying anything out here. Like, what the hell y'all talking about? It's crazy. Just because you don't like a character does not mean, you know, like it's characters I don't like, and I'm still like, no, I get why this is like an issue.
Yeah.
I didn't like I never liked Nina. I thought that Carly and them should have told her about Nell.
Right.
I wasn't even mad at her about being mad about it. Or I wasn't even mad at Nina about being mad about it.
Yeah, she had the right to be mad about that.
Yeah. Um, the other thing, I mean, this is like goes into kind of what I was talking about, like just one of the things that they are doing very poorly right now is they're not putting the right people in the right stories. Where the hell is Sam at the hospital? So we got Jake at the hospital randomly, but not Scout. Like, what is actually happening? Sonny should have been involved in this like story. If he was gonna be involved in this story with Gladys and Sasha, he should have been involved. Like, so they're trying to give people moments or tell like stories, and they're telling them so poorly because they're not involving everyone who should be involved.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Sam wasn't with Sasha, so where was she? It would make sense that she would be at the hospital because Drew just got beat up. But
That's what I'm hoping. Maybe she was setting something up. I don't know.
yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping.
Um there was another thing that didn't work for me. Oh yeah. The elopement actually seemed very random to me.
Huh.
Very just all of a sudden and very random. So I don't know what
Mm,
that's
yeah.
about. And then finally that shower scene. I was actually into it at first. And then she just leaves him hanging. I'm like, what the hell? Why would she do that? And why wasn't she more wet? Her clothes seem perfectly dry.
It was awful. I just
And then
got
why is Amy just so goddamn nosy? I don't. She's like, is she? I think I don't know. I hope this actress is in on the joke because they're just making Amy just be the most annoying and hateful nurse ever. And I hope that this actress is perfectly aware of that and is just playing into it because
I can't even talk about Amy. That shower scene, what is going on? Ugh, yuck. I
like, oh, okay, they're about to have an actual sincere connection. They seem to be connected in the shower scene, and then she just walks away. I was I was like, I do not blame Finn for that cold shower after, because that was such a tea.
I
Oh my god.
they're not working. And I know that maybe they just don't have anybody else to pair these people with. It's bad. It's bad.
I was like, wow.
Terrible. It's bad. It's bad. I also, what did you make of the Portia Anna scenes?
It's, I don't know. It was a little weird. It seemed like Portia's trying to clear the air, but yet not. No. Just like,
It was like it was big. Like I don't fuck with you, but I guess I'll say something nice to you. Energy, like you know what I mean.
she's like, yeah, you're my husband's friend, so I gotta be nice, I guess.
I suppose. Like it was.
I
I don't.
suppose I was out of line. Maybe.
I, I don't know what they're doing with Portia, and here's what I'll say. I I was telling you before we even start push play on this that so like I had complained about like some of the Sprina stuff last week, and the comment section on our YouTube was jumping as a result. And I had thought about whether or not I was going to complain about it, right? Because I was like, well, like there are moments the fandom is waiting for, and I don't like being like a sour puss when it comes to like big moments for them. But I said something because I think somebody like said something about me having like some unhealed trauma. I don't know, but like it's not personal unhealed trauma. It's like Evangeline Williamson unhealed trauma, or Lainey unhealed trauma, or like watching Black girls who had like prominent roles on the show be disappeared over nothing.
Right.
Like what happens to them when their partner, like their like love where their love interest is gone, what happens to them when their like family is gone. So you even have, I bring up Maya all the time because like she was a ward dating Ethan, and then they legitimately just disappeared her. Like, you know what I mean? And so when I think about Portia, for example, not being rooted, like people are like, Portia could leave tomorrow. I'm so tired of her. Da, 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 da. And I'm not mad at you about that because they have not had Portia do anything that was likable or rootable in a long time. The last time Portia did something rootable, to be honest, was when she saved Trina for court. But if you have her anchored to characters who aren't rootable, then what? There are people who don't like the Joss Trina friendship. Well, friendships are how you root people to, like friendships and family, and it's like friendships, family, and love interests are how you root people to the canvas. And so if those things aren't strong, then when the love interest is gone, people don't get written for anymore. And so it is important to me that Trina is allowed to be a full character that's not just invested in for her relationship. I think it was really important. And I do think that it meant a lot that Sprina's love scenes were invested heavily in. Like I think that is very, very important. And I'm not trying to take away I would never take away from that. But I do think that we have seen too many Black actresses, if we're not like loud about what they deserve, like be treated like they never were there. It was just like I said, like, where's Valerie? She's a Spencer.
Right.
Like you basically took Trina's like long-term, like Trina is related to Taggart. That's like a long-term character, and you took that away and made her Curtis's kid. So like what happens when like Curtis isn't there anymore and they stop telling the story for the Ashfords the way they stopped telling them for the Wards. So anyway, I said out to say like I'm gonna keep complaining when I feel like it's complaining is necessary about the storylines. If I feel like Trina isn't being treated fairly because at the end of the day, I'm invested in this character. I'm invested in telling like Black stories, and I think that GH sometimes does that very, very poorly. And so, not that what we say on this podcast necessarily reverberates throughout what happens at Prospect Park, but I do think it's important to add it to the conversation.
Yeah. Obviously, I think. I mean, a prime example being Real Andrews. I mean, they teased us with the idea of him being the chief of police, and where is he at?
Where's he at?
We already know that Mac is going to be gone in the future because John York is announcement. So where's Real Andrews?
Mm-hmm. Who has said on multiple occasions that he's available, just call him.
Right.
So anyway, just wanted to like name that as like a thing of I'm gonna be asking these questions. I'm gonna be talking about what Trina deserves over and over.
And Portia and Jordan.
And Portia and Jordan.
Yeah.
Always.
And Hannah.
Um so we're recording on October 1st, which means it is Kelly Monaco's 20th anniversary.
Woohoo!
Or her 20th anniversary as Sam. Now, I started watching GH in the summer of 03. And so all of these storylines were kind of already in progress, the way it is when you start watching soaps. And Sam was the first character I was able to like kind of watch from the very beginning and really enjoy. And so happy anniversary, Kelly Monaco. Thank you for being an amazing Sam, for telling story after story after story with so much heart and so much talent and creativity. There was a spread on her in Soap Opera Digest, which I really enjoyed. And so a couple things I took away from it was she loved J Sam as much as I loved J Sam. And she talked about like the relationship with Jason and how she always felt like that was like a really special one. And I think a lot of Sam fans and Kelly fans agree. A lot of us we like different versions of her relationship. I've liked all of her relationships. I kind of didn't care for Silas. But I've liked every one of her relationships. I think that she's a Kim magnet, and that is that. But there's something special about J Sam. She loves working with Dom. She said Dom has her back. And I think that shows in like the Sante relationship. It's such a grown up Sam, and I really do love their relationship. I love their dynamic. I love their chemistry. And she seems to enjoy it. And the thing she also talked about, so her first story was The Dead Man's Hand, and so she's working with like he who should not be named, Anthony Geary. Um, and I loved her talking about how Tony still sends her letters. I loved that. And like, just like things when he thinks about her, he sends her stuff. I really thought that was adorable. He still sends her emails and letters. And finally, I love that Kelly said she wanted more scenes with Sam and Liz,
Yeah.
which is like so true. I mean, we talked about this, I know, at Lent Tanya, like after Jason died, how they didn't have a scene with Jake and Danny. We actually don't even see Jake and Danny have any kind of relationship now. So yeah, I did love, she talked about how Becky is one of her best friends. And I think we are due for some Sam and Liz team ups. So anyway, happy anniversary, Kelly. What do you think? How do you feel? I mean, I know that you're a Sam fan as well.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking like some of my favorite scenes. I wish there was a little bit, maybe she didn't have enough time. I wish there was more opportunity to talk about Sam and Dante. Like my favorite scenes are with Sam and Dante. I guess the one I'm thinking about the most was when Heather Weber was back and, haunting Elizabeth a little bit, and Sam and Dante were in the living room, and Dante's like, "Hey, we can give you a ride home." And Sam was just like, like,
Wow.
no, no, no. and Doctor was like, it'll be okay, Sam. And I was just like, that just made me laugh so much. And then a lot of their scenes, their relationships together, it was amazing to me. But also some of my favorite scenes with Sam are with Elizabeth. I really enjoyed the time that they had together around the time of Jason's death, and they were commiserating and being upset and angry and all the good things together. I enjoyed that. And they
Mhm.
had a double date at a baseball game and something, but they were really great together, and I do hope to see scenes with them. um I hope they just, get Liz off of this whole relationship with Finn thing so they can have fun together. 'Cause I don't see Finn and Elizabeth and Sam and Dante double dating. That would be, it would be either the most boring thing or the most hilarious thing of seeing Sam and Dante being like, "Why are we with these people? They're so boring. Let's go and do
Well,
something."
also both Becky and Michael Easton have more chemistry with Kelly.
Right.
It's just like extreme, it's like even more awkward.
Yeah, so I think it would, that those scenes would be hella awkward, and they would either be funny or cringeworthy, and really showing why Elizabeth and Finn don't work together. But yeah, so I agree. Congratulations to Kelly Monaco on 20 excellent years with GH, and looking forward to seeing more as you grow in this character. Yeah.
She is pretty great. And I really do enjoy like the Sam fandom. I tweeted about this. I very rarely tweet about the show, but I did tweet about it. Like there's something about like Kelly fans. Like if I tweet something about like having a rough day or like having a lot of anxiety, like the people who I've been able to like befriend, despite the fact that I don't tweet about the show anymore, from that fandom, still check on me, will check on me in the comments, will DM me, will like make sure I'm okay. And I think that that's just like a testament to who Kelly is.
Mhm.
And like how she is about not bullying and it's about having each other's backs and all of that. It's an example that she sets. And I just think um Kelly Monaco, class act on screen, off screen. And I am such a fan. I was not able, I had a death in the family during soap super soap weekend. That's what am I saying? I've like flashback super soap weekend, not super soap, the fan club weekend. And so I had to go home instead of go to meet Kelly, but hopefully she does another thing at another time and I will get a chance to go and meet her then.
Yeah.
So
What were some of your favorite scenes?
for Kelly,
Yeah.
oh, oh my God, so many. So first of all, let me just run down my Kelly standing.
Mhm.
So first of all, Run to Me, J Sam,
Oh,
iconic,
that was very iconic.
iconic. Um,
I remember when I'm sorry, but it's negative, but I remember she got shot on the balcony. Man, that was like very powerful.
that's like the impetus for Run to Me. Uh,
Mhm.
so that was like, I mean, I still think she was robbed for not getting an Emmy for losing Baby Lila. I mean, what the hell?
Mhm.
Just um I even now, like listen, like watching that scene will make you tear up. Um, I loved the scene. I loved the storyline of her seducing Lucky. because this was Greg Vaughn's Lucky. And
Mm.
now, if you know me, you know I'm a JJ stand for the character of Lucky. That is Lucky to me. But also, Greg Vaughn has always been fine. He's still fine. He's Asian like fine wine right now on days looking fine. But him and Kelly Monaco, mm, the Kim was the Kim off the charts for them. And so I just loved when Nicholas basically went to Sam and was like, please don't seduce my brother. And Sam was like, oh no, I'm definitely gonna seduce your brother. And he comes over, like gets in the hot tub. I was like, because if for me, there was like this was like they were trying to like destroy Sam's character at this point. Because this is like after she had watched Jake get kidnapped. This is after all of that. And like she about to seduce another woman's husband. And then it was just so hot. People were like, oh yeah, lose him. That's what's up. Like so she just like turned it and spun it to like something golden. I love every time she fights somebody. Like every time her and Carly in their slaps of each other, chef's kiss. The
Yeah.
time where her and Carly, and it was Laura Wright's Carly too, got into like a fight at the penthouse, and Diane had to come break them up. Like, what is wrong with y'all? um I'm also thinking about now I'm like way deep in like deep old stuff. But when her and Elizabeth got into it at Windermere the night that Emily died,
Oh.
when she was just like when Liz like just I mean, because I think that what made that rivalry so good is that there wasn't like one clear winner. Both of them got as good as they gave.
Mhm.
And so it was like really watching a tennis match. Like, what you about to say? What you about to say? What you about to say? And so Liz was like, he trusts me. And she was like, well, I got your husband. Like, or what did she say? You got Jason and I got your husband. Seems like a fair trade. Just iconic, iconic. So like that, all of those things, and just like even all of her more recent stuff, I loved her relationship with Julian, and then I loved when she had all the smoke for Julian
All the smoke, all the time.
all the time.
Like I ain't talking to that man.
Um, I love the relationship with Maxie.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
love the relationship with Spinelli.
Yes.
Yeah, I loved when her and when Sante was in Monte Carlo. Okay, I'm just going through her whole thing. That's the I love all of it. I love all of it.
Awesome.
What about you? What are some of your favorites?
Well, I did. I shared the of my favorite scene with Sante, and with Liz. Yeah, I did enjoy her dynamic with Carly when Jason was pretending to be the father of her baby.
Yeah.
Um, I love the scenes when Jason was trying to help her find her son. I love that when he let the son gets back and they're in the hospital and he's trying to convince her to come home with him in the penthouse. Those were very romantic.
um, happy anniversary, Kelly. 20 looks good on you, girl. Um, and do you have any hot takes? I have very few. I think I've said most of them.
Ones that I haven't already talked about. Um, yeah, I did. Jake was crying. Oh, oh, yes. One example of Kelly Monaco. Her voice as the receptionist at the bank was hilarious.
So funny.
It was just like so obvious it was a fake voice, but Gladys fell for it.
So funny.
That was hilarious. I was like, oh, I wrote down on Wednesday. I know Tracy ain't gonna like this chicken pox drama. I literally wrote it down. I was like, she ain't gonna like this.
So why ain't that baby vaccinated?
Huh?
So why that baby ain't vaccinated?
Right. Um,
Somebody getting chicken pox in 2023 like this? Get that baby a shots.
okay, so I wrote, so even though what it was a great acting scene for Cyrus flashing on Lollipop Guild, I did pick up a note that Nicholas is working with Cyrus apparently. So he knows the whole. I thought it was just because the way they only had him interacting with Austin. I thought that Nicholas, the only thing Nicholas knew was that Austin saved his life and that's it. Apparently he's in on this whole scheme and now I'm even more pissed off at him. Um ugh. Even though I'm not shocked because he has no love for Sonny at all. And he's mad at Ava. So I don't know. Um and then also the scene with Willow and her mom. What was she saying? I did not understand it. I tried to slow it down and try to read her lips. I could not understand what the lady was saying at all.
I thought, did y'all really bring back Inga for this? Is about her back? Please tell me there's going to be more flashbacks and we will see more or hear more because there is no way this is what you brought this woman in there to do.
I did not understand it. It was so random.
I mean, I think it was like, I'm warning you or something like that. I think that's what it was. But it was just like, I mean, look, I love Harmony.
Right.
Y'all know I love Harmony. But the audience does not like see her as being better than Nina. So I don't know why you would like even create that kind of like juxtaposition. I see her as being better than Nina, but I hate Nina, so
Well, I
it,
think they've been playing Willow as in even though knowing Harmony was a bad person, she still loved her more than Nina and felt like Harmony was more her mother than Nina was. So that I understood, but I still did not understand what she was saying or why she was there. It's
it
just crazy.
is sense.
So, but yeah, those are my only hot takes.
I had that, like, what the hell was that? And then I also laughed about them talking about how Drew was careful. They're like, Drew was
Ah, he was not careful, and they weren't careful either.
Drew was
Giving him the
reckless.
assignment in the first place in the middle of the public visiting room, Sonny being there, Ryan Lavery, sorry, Drew Lavery having phone calls that everyone could listen to. Just he was not being careful.
No. I also was like, Lucy is savage. Okay, Lucy put Brooklyn a whole little life like in this article, like,
Oh yeah, so you believe Lucy actually wrote the
or at least like gave the info.
yeah, that was kind of savage.
Like, but don't play with Lucy money
Right.
because she will come for you, and she about to come for Martin when she find out.
Ooh.
P.S. I was like, I love all these like familiar relationships y'all trying to remind us of, like Valentine calling Martin Uncle Martin and Charlotte. I'm like,
Yeah.
have we been in scenes together?
Yeah, but she is the uncle. He is the uncle to her.
Yeah, because of Laura, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
I
Anyway,
mean, it could be or just like cuz he's dad's friend, he's the uncle, but she
oh,
is
I guess
the
so.
actual.
I
Yeah.
guess so.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all I got.
That apartment though looks fly. I want to live in it.
Oh, the house.
Yeah, the new house. I guess it's a house. It looks like an apartment to
Yeah.
me.
I love that he was like, my daughter may have committed arson. What can I do? I can get her a new house as a treat. You not gonna ask her about this?
I know he still hasn't asked her.
It's wild.
And then they cut off the scene where she's like, "Yeah, I got some tarot cards," and he just looked at her like, "What the hell?" I mean, there was no investigation on that either. I love how Charlotte is evasive though. He's like, "Yeah, what do you think?" And she's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go in my room." She did not answer any questions.
I know Anna didn't pick this out.
Right? You know.
Yeah, Charlotte. I really weird because they like Valentine knows that there are like real things at play right now. And so now they're like, oh, if there's no footage, there must have been a sophisticated criminal. No, it was just Nina.
Right.
And you got like Anna out here worried. I just don't understand the direction this is taking because the reality is Anna would protect Charlotte too.
Yeah.
So I don't get what are we doing? What are we doing?
I think Nina and Anna's already suspicious because she went to Olivia and asked about the videos. She
Right.
knows something's up. Why aren't you just, confiding in her? I think Nina going to be next in Anna's investigation? I hope so.
Take her down, Anna.
Yes, I would love to see Anna break Nina and be like, and by the way, what other secrets are you? Did you turn in Drew and Carly? I know you did it because I got friends and, and all this stuff. She could call her friends up, and then someone at FCC told me that it was you. So that would be so juicy if Anna was the one to out her and in front of Sonny.
Because I don't care about Carly, but they're like they keep wanting to tell us that Drew was a good man. Oh god. Well, next week we only have 3 days of GH
No.
because of baseball.
Baseball. Nobody care about baseball. Oh, sorry.
The last time I cared about baseball was in Twilight. I don't care about this.
What's
But
the Twilight?
you said what?
You said last time you cared about baseball was Twilight?
Yes. There's a baseball scene in Twilight.
Oh, I forgot. I'm like, that's so random. It was like Twilight.
But let's get into it. So the second so this is tomorrow, Monday. Valentine confers with Martin. Kevin shares his theory. Laura is insistent. Anna voiced her suspicions. Gladys is in the hot seat. So we know from Soap Opera Digest that Kevin is basically gonna be like talking to Laura like, girl, maybe Nicholas don't want to be found. Maybe we should leave this alone. And Laura gonna be wanting to still do too much. So that's happening. And that Sam is going to confront Gladys. And then Sonny is going to come in and take it over.
I have a hot take that I didn't write down, but shout out to the banker who was like telling Nicholas, "You need to talk to your mom. You're being very disrespectful."
You know, manners having savage.
She's a good woman. You need to tell her. I was like, wow. But yeah.
So we're off on Tuesday and Wednesday, and then Thursday we pick back up. Spencer and Trina affirm their feelings. Sonny issues a threat. Tracy has a slip of the tongue. Valentine surprises Anna. Sasha is in danger. And then Friday, Michael and Willow ponder a decision. Carly is shaken. Anna makes a request. Nina shares news with Valentine. Christina is filled with anticipation. And that is our short 3-day week.
So, all right. Hopefully those 3 days will be full of excitement and intrigue so we can have lots to talk about.
Let's hope. Let's hope. Well, thank you for listening. Like, subscribe, leave us a comment, and we will see you next week.
Hey, in your comments, leave like what was your favorite Sam scene?
Oh yeah. Let us know what your favorite Sam scene is in the comments.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.